Welcome. My name is Jeremiah Sunarine. In this lesson, we will be discussing fractions on a number line. The highlighted standards you see will be elaborated in this PowerPoint. In addition to key vocabulary that will be helpful for students to learn, opportunities to practice, and succeed in this unit. On this slide are a list of key vocabulary that will be beneficial for students to learn and understand, especially when learning more complex concepts later in this unit and future units. Using the vocabulary frequently and consistently so that students can make a connection to the math content and provides the students with opportunities to understand concrete math concepts. For students to learn best, fractions showing concrete examples allows them to make sense of this. When teaching a fraction, it is important for students to understand what a fraction represents. Equal parts of a whole. The top number represents the numerator, and the bottom number represents the denominator. Food is a good example to demonstrate fractions, especially when the food is something that the students are familiar with. Asking students a question such as, "Can you name a favorite food that can be divided equally?" allows students to share and contribute to the lesson, and allows teachers to follow up with what the students are interested in and build relationships as well as promote discussion opportunities with them. In this example, the pizza is cut into 4 equal pieces, and there are 3 slices left. Therefore, we would read this fraction as 3 out of 4. 3 is the numerator, and 4 is the denominator. Another way students can interact with this is by folding paper in their homes. Students can fold papers in halves, quarters, or eighths. This can allow students to manipulate the paper using their fingers to count and even color the pieces of paper to demonstrate shaded fractions. This is especially important for the student who learns best if their style is tactile learning style, where they can touch the material in order to learn better. Lastly, on the bottom, finding ways for students to memorize or learn the difference between numerator and denominator. I wrote on the bottom a way to remember denominator. It starts with the letter D, and down starts with the letter D as well. Making connections with vocabulary for students can build their understanding to the math concepts to previous knowledge that they have learned. In this slide, students may be familiar with whole numbers. Whole numbers are counting numbers, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Having students make a connection that fractions can be written as a whole number are important when writing a fraction and simplifying it to a whole number. Let's look at the examples here. We see 3 columns. The first are visual models. Next to that are fractions. And lastly are the whole number equivalents. Let's look at the first model, where we look at the blue circles. We can count that each circle is cut into 4 equal pieces, and we can allow students to count all the equal pieces, and the number goes on the numerator. The denominator is the amount of equal pieces it's cut into. When we look at a fraction, we see that 12 equal pieces, and that number is on the numerator, and the denominator is the amount of equal pieces the figure is cut into. We can also show students that the model has 3 complete circles shaded in. Showing students a visual like this can help them understand that 3 is the whole number equivalent of 12 over 4, or 12 out of 4. In this slide, we can see the number line from 0 to 1, and there are different colors to represent halves, thirds, quarters, fifths, sixths, and eighths. This number line, like this, can support students with comparing two different types of fractions. Students can see which one is larger and which one is smaller. Students should be encouraged to use their hands and count while saying the fractions' names. Modeling how to say the fractions prior to the students saying the fractions can provide you with immediate feedback on what the student needs support with. One misconception that can be difficult for students to understand is which fraction could be larger. Here is an example. Which one is larger, 1/4 or 1/2? Students may see the number 4 and think 4 is larger than 2. Therefore, they might conclude that 1/4 is bigger than 1/2. However, if they see the image of 1/4, it is shaded less than 1/2. Using visuals to understand how to write math problems can help students understand this concept of which one is larger. Thank you for listening. Here is my contact info. Feel free to reach out via email, and I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day.